Hello, I'm Sean Lamp with Danfoss Drives North American Service Department. Today I'm going to go over how to analyze the data captured by NXS and NXP drives when they have a fault.
Please take a moment now to read the safety warnings shown here. Failure to follow these warnings could result in death or serious injury.
In this example, we are looking at another drive with overcurrent trips. So if we go down to the fault history, we can see that we are looking at overcurrent trips. And again, you see where we're kind of looking at some of the data here that doesn't quite look right. I said we got an output frequency of 35.7 hertz. We have no current, 275 volts on the output, no power, no torque. We are ready, we are running, forward direction, not fault, not warning. We are at reference, 673 volts for DC bus, 41 degrees C, subcode S1, which is again a hardware overcurrent trip, and that's in the power unit. On this one, we go look at it. We are looking at a 275 amp motor, 460 volt, current limits at 300 amps. The unit itself is a 300 amp unit, PA0300, so 480 volts. So this would be a frame 9 NXP drive. So we take a look at the data logs for that, and we got it 145 days, 14 hours, 37 minutes, 22 seconds. Let's see if the data logger matches that. So we got 144 days, 1 hour, 46 minutes, 6 seconds. So let's find the fault for that. So actually that fault's way down here. So that must be an earlier trigger on that fault. So that one's down here. So as we're looking at this fault, this one looks a little bit weird again when we're going to, right here's where we triggered. So we're going to take this area and expand it out and see what happened here. See, it looks like something spiked here pretty good. So let's take our measuring. Bring it over here. We are pretty high in current here. That our peak current is at about 190%. We're at 41 hertz. The motor current is 369 amps, so that is above the drive rating. I said the drive rating was 300. We look at DC bus voltage. I said before the trip we were at 677. And once we tripped, we went down to 663, so it's not a huge drop in DC bus, but it is a drop in DC bus with an awful lot of current. So it does look like a real current trip. So then we just got to figure out why that current tripped. So we want to take our scales back, and as you can see right before it tripped here, if we go and look at it, so it doesn't look like the drive was doing anything, that there's no output current there, but the drive is still at right around 42 hertz. So it does look like the drive is running, that it's stopped outputting current, everything right here. And you can see DC bus kind of spiked when it did that, and then it kind of dropped down. I said this is pretty typical when you shut off current to a motor. I said you're going to get that spike in DC bus. I said it shouldn't be a huge spike, but we are going from, we go to 657 up to about 687. So we jumped about 30 volts or so from the lowest peak to the highest peak. But that's kind of like cutting current through a motor and not outputting so much current to the motor. So we go back to what was happening before that. Let's just take a look at this area when it looks like maybe it was running okay. So all of our currents look good. Let's get rid of some of the other things so we can see what our currents and everything look like. So there's our 3 output phase currents. They all look okay. If we add things together, they all kind of add up. 643 on one side, and we got about 650 on the other side. So no real ground current or anything. That's all adding up. DC bus looks about normal, not a huge ripple. So our normal ripple is going from about 662 to even the lowest point is 653. So there's very little ripple there, about 10 volts. So that all looks okay. So everything looks okay in that area. So let's bring our scales back. So what happened right here? So we take a look at that. Now the drive didn't trip, it just stopped outputting current. So it's just going through and all of a sudden it stops outputting current. So then we got to ask ourselves, what would stop the drive from outputting current? And then when it trips, so that's just a little bit over a half a second. So that's a pretty short period of time. So I said, well, what can happen in that period of time to make the drive stop outputting current and then all of a sudden have a huge spike of current? So we got to look at the output of the drive, and the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, are there any disconnects or contactors on the output of the drive? And if the answer is no, then we got to question, okay, well, what else can potentially cause this? What in the drive could cause this? If the answer is yes, that you do have something on the output of the drive, the first thing you got to do is eliminate that. Now, being a half a second, I would say it's probably not a disconnect, because I don't know that anybody could turn a disconnect off and turn it back on in that short period of time. That it would probably be well over a second to do that. And I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I'm just saying it's probably not likely. But you do have to eliminate it as a possibility. The other possibility is a contactor dropping out and pulling back in. Now that could happen in that shorter period of time. Again, a little bit questionable, but it could happen in that shorter period of time. So if there are contactors out there, then you got to somewhat eliminate the contactor. Bypass the contactor depending upon how short a period of time it is in between the trips. And we take a look and we see how long a period of time that it's taken in between the trips. Here it's pretty short. It's only a couple minutes at most. Well, actually it's not even a couple minutes. So they're all 1:44:20. This one's a couple hours. In between here is about 18 hours, but it's happening pretty quickly that things are happening. This is only about another hour in between here, so things are happening pretty rapidly doing that. So it's probably not a disconnect, because somebody's not going to sit there, open and close a disconnect. They might do that once. Could be a contactor. You do have to take a look and say, are there any contactors out there that we can possibly bypass and then wait a couple days and see if these faults stop happening. In this circumstance, it was neither one of those. It was not a contactor or a disconnect. So then we got to look into the drive. So, all right, what in the drive could potentially cause this? And there probably aren't too many things in the drive that could cause this, because right here, it isn't a drive stopping and starting, because if we take a look at it, let's see what our stop sequence is. That our start and stop are both ramping, and the time for that is 23 seconds. So it's a 23 XL and decel time. So that's not really happening here, that we are not decelerating and we are not accelerating, that this is an open-close contact. So we say, all right, it's not the drive stopping and starting. So we don't have to look at digital inputs or anything like that. That's potentially stopping and starting the drive. So then we got to say, well, what else could potentially do this? Well, being a frame 9 drive, it is the first fiber optic coupled drive. With a fiber optic coupled drive, well, all drives kind of have it, but there is a signal that goes in between there that's a enable for the drive. So we got to look at, can that enable possibly be dropping out and coming back in? Now that enable for a bus coupled drive, that does go through the bus coupler or the fiber optic adapter, whichever you want to call it. And on this side, it would go directly to the power board. So on those two sides, you say, well, is there something with the fiber optic, or is there something with the fiber optic senders and receivers? The fiber optic board is the easiest one to replace, so that would probably be the one that we would start with if we had to troubleshoot that. So we'll start with the fiber optic board and see if that does it. Then if that doesn't work, then we would go to the power board and see if the power board, because it's the other side of that enable signal, that enables the drive to turn on and off. This one just so happened to be the fiber optic adapter or bus coupler, whichever you want to call it. The sender for the fiber optic was getting a little flaky and it was turning on and off.
Thank you for viewing. We hope this information has been helpful. Danfoss Drives can provide additional technical support, parts information or repair services options by contacting us through one of the following methods. For immediate access to customer service or a technical support expert in North America, call 1-888-DANFOSS, or 1-888-326-3677, or contact us by using one of the listed email addresses. Additional information is also available on our website at www.danfossdrives.com. For contact information in areas outside of North America, please visit our global website at www.danfoss.com.